Hi, so I get this question a lot about how my individual card readings go or how I conduct when I'm doing a channeled reading. And what's really cool about it is there's no two people that are the same. So it's like science, DNA, fingerprints, is everybody's energy is unique and distinct to them. So I take that person in mind, and I usually call in my spirit team, my guides, and everything before I work with the person. And most of the time, I'll get a channeled message, and in that message, I'm usually guided. Will I be using cards today? Will I be using dice? Because I use this as a divination tool. Will I be looking up angel numbers? One of my favorite books. And or an oracle deck as well. So I usually pull from my favorite cards. So I use the Light Seers deck. I also use my own tarot deck, Mystic Taxi, the Major Arcana Tarot. And then I have Love's Healing Journey, which is an oracle card that is solely designed in light language. And it's designed by my soul brother and sister, Brian Mears and Jean Church. So I love that deck. And this is by Light Seers by Chris Ann. I've met her. She's a lovely human being. And then my own deck I created for my unscripted TV pilot, Mystic Taxi, that you can actually find on consciousawakeningnetwork.com. So, with that being said, I have my space set up, kind of guided toward what I'm feeling for the day or what I might need. So, it's unique to each person. So, let's just say I'm reading for Jane Doe, for lack of a better way to put that. And I'm going to clear my deck, and everybody has their method. I generally don't knock on my cards. Some people say you need to, those sort of things. I don't. I usually do. I'm a trained shamanic practitioner, so I usually do counterclockwise 3 times, and then I do the 4 directions to wipe it clean. And then I keep that person in mind, and I'll say, if you have a question, keep it in your mind's eye. I always do a better reading if I don't know what their specific question is, so I have no bias in it. I have none of my own input or ego. And so then I'll usually shuffle the deck. I always shuffle 3 times unless I'm guided to do an extra or less than or something of that nature. I'm really intuitive. I was the Sixth Sense kid, so I've been doing spiritual work since I was little. And my very first deck was an oracle deck. So the difference for me is oracle decks are usually a lot more intuitive, where you're just literally interpreting that card for that person. And that's where I can get usually divine messages, things of that nature. Versus when I'm doing tarot sometimes is a little more structured. You have the suits you follow, then you have the major arcana, those sort of things. And the basic difference, we could go all day about this video, but the basic difference is major arcanas are great for like a life purpose. If you have a major shift or change coming up in your life that may affect the rest of your life, I say use major arcana. If you have like a day-to-day question, yes or no, things like that, generally you can go with the minors, which are the other 58 cards. Majors are 22 cards to form a total of 78 cards. And then oracle decks, they can range anywhere from, I've seen 30 cards up to 68 cards. It really just depends on the creator and their intention behind it. So no two are the same. So after I have shuffled, then I usually cut however you wish. There's no right or wrong. For me, I usually go in threes, but like I said, it's however the reader goes. And then I put it back together, and then I'll say, show me the layout. Because here's what works best for me. When I very first started reading cards back in 2001's where I took my first training, but I got my first oracle deck in 1991. Yeah, I'm kind of aging myself here. That was my first oracle deck, and I just, like I said, gravitated toward them because it was a little more intuitive. And then I've just kind of added to that, but started training when I was 2001 because I'm like, okay, what's this layout business? What can I do? So that being said, I just kind of kept practicing and kept working with myself until I felt comfortable working with other people. And it all comes through practice, confidence, being grounded and rooted when you do this type of work. So for this particular demonstration, I'm just going to start some basics. So I'm just going to do a 3-card spread just for some basics for the purpose of this video today, because I get this question so often. I just thought I'd show my tips and tricks. Sorry, I had to get a drink there. The more I talk, the more I will cough. So how I usually do this is always my foundation. Well, I shouldn't say always. Depends on how I'm guided, but this will be our basic, and which I call a foundation. So past will be first card to the left, middle, present, third card to the far right can be future. So just for training in this video. First card, I have 8 of Pentacles. So in this particular card, because I teach intuitive oracle and tarot card reading, and in this particular card, the first thing I look at is imagery. So when I look at this, I see a woman holding a candle looking to her left. So this is using her own magic or unleashing her own magic, turning her back away from what no longer serves her as she is looking toward what her magic or her spells or her herbs, things like this. So this could be for healing, for health, anything of that nature, just because I'm intuitively interpreting it. And it could be different for whoever I'm reading. So please keep that in mind. And with this particular one, she does have her legs crossed. So if I'm working with someone that they have blockages or challenges, I will say make sure when you sit to uncross your legs. That would be an example of an intuitive hit for me. Don't always pick it up. I've had this card a ton of times. Versus to her far right, this is books and another candle and a quill. So this may be either tapping into the knowledge she already has, learning something new, or writing her own material because it has an actual quill. So again, goes back to whoever I'm reading for. And then you have 8 pentacles above her. So because she turns her back to what no longer serves her, she removes herself from that situation. She then moves into her prosperity and abundance. Pentacles are also earth-based. So what you plant and then you later reap from what you've sown. And then everything is bursting out from her. So she is the source to her own financial abundance, financial awakening, financial expansion. She's the source. It's all coming from her. And then the fact that she's looking to the left, so it would be our left because her back is to us. That's the divine feminine side. The right side's the masculine. So I would probably also guide her and make sure you tap into your divine feminine side in order to really work your magic. Could be her ancestors, could be maybe somebody in her family was an herbalist or a naturopath, nurse practitioner, anything of that nature that was kind of in the natural healing arts. I would say to her, you know, whoever is in your ancestral line, it might behoove you to do your research. And this goes back all the way to, you know, as far as you can search your family's origination. So, and a lot of beautiful colors, a lot of green down on the bottom. So if she can stay grounded, uncross her legs, and really manifest that what she wants, because this candle is also green. It's the number of money or the color of money, and it's the heart chakra. So making sure she's coming from her heart and not up in her head, unless she's coming from her third eye, which is totally different than your your ego mind. Okay? This would be more her own intuition. So that would be an example of pulling from past, it's like ancestry, lineal magic, things like that, to contribute to her financial abundance. Okay? Or she possibly had a ton of financial abundance in the past because she followed her own beat of her own drum, unleashed her own magic, that sort of thing, because this being the past card. But past always impacts the present and the future. So let's take a look at these other cards. So this middle card here, oh, this is a great card. So all about pentacles. So right after 8, now you've got 9. So this tells me whoever I'm reading for, and again, this is a sample, they're building their wealth. So they are literally, and then this is a feminine energy. Now, gender usually has no role in cards when I read, because sometimes I read for men as well. And if there's a woman on the card, I might say, you know, tap into your divine feminine, because she's the one that's really guiding you, that part of you, because we all have masculine and feminine sides to us. That part of you is what's really your money generator. And it's literally when I said, what you plant, you reap, you sow. That's what she's doing. So she's following the guidance. So to me, this bird really stands out for me. And birds are messengers. So she's obviously getting either guidance or messages where to go next with her money, or where to invest, or where to save, those sort of things. And 9 is all about you're about to complete a cycle. So this being the present position card, she's about, or he is about, to complete a cycle. And plus, so much green while wearing white. So that's significant for me when I'm reading for someone, because grounded in purity and protection, the angelic realm, as she trusts in divine guidance and divine flow. So she's reaching up, and this arm's completely off the page. So that means don't box yourself in when I read. That's kind of what I interpret it. And then all these pentacles are there as she needs to use them. And this could signify she's put some trust in her own cup. So she's got a financial financial reward or something of that nature, because she emotionally invested in herself, because that is a cup or a bowl, which is usually significant of holding your emotions. So just a great card, and all that green is, again, that heart chakra. And she's just divinely beautiful, like she's radiating outward because she is listening. So this is a great card if I was doing a reading for someone. Now I'm really curious what the future card is, since she's building, or he is building, their wealth. 3 of Wands. So this is great. 3 is all about the number of ascended masters. It's the number of creativity. It's also the number of collaboration. So with this particular card, she is in her full, and it could be he as well. Again, we have divine masculine and feminine energies and harmony. So she is literally looking out in that horizon to see where she wants to go next. She's ready. The board is in her arms. The wands are lit in case she needs to come back to where she's leaving to kind of guide her direction. And you'll see a little bit of some, not choppy water, but flowy water. So she's leaving to better, more flowing opportunities, or not a pasture because it's water, but water represents about cleansing, clearing the emotional body. So she would have emotional fulfillment by going with her own flow, which again, water medicine can bring that in. And I love this particular card. Wands are usually about action. So she is in control of her action from the guidance she is receiving by listening. And I love it because it looks like light language in these cards, and symbology on her legs as well. To me, that reminds me of light language. And so if you don't know more about that, you can Google it, you can check into it. My aunt is queen of doing that, so you can check out Patricia Dancing Elk Walls. She's also on YouTube. So it's just divine. So if I'm looking at this as an overall, so let me pull these a little closer. I would say, because I usually like to wrap up the reading kind of towards the end, is because you've listened to your guidance, your own intuition, you've been able to create a financial flow or financial abundance or opportunities that are coming to you, and you get to decide where you're going to go with this. A place, it's also adventure or travel. You get to decide where you want to go because you're following your heart and your divine inspiration through guidance, messages, imagery, things like that. So some people get that a lot when they dream. So this would just be an example. Let's say I'm reading for this person and they're like, I really need a timeline. When is all this going to happen? I can bring it down to the numbers. You had 8, 9, and 3. Add that all up to get a number. Look it up in my angel number book. I can also say, 8 is all about infinity, no end, no beginning, prosperity, abundance. 9, coming close to the end of a cycle. And then 3, following guidance from ascended masters or being creative about what you want to do. And so if they ask for a timeline and they're not happy with that part, then I would consult my dice, which I said I do use as a divination tool. And I'll say, dice, give me a number for Jane Doe, if you will, for a timeline of when she wants to accomplish this or whatever it may be. And then I'll roll. And I've got a 3. So it confirms in that future about that 3. And with this, when I interpret it, it can be 8 hours, 8 days, 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years. And so I use my own channeling abilities to decide which one that is. So will it be closer to the hours, days, weeks, months, or years? And it might be, okay, what I'm picking up for you, Jane, is it's going to be between 8 weeks and 8 months. That sort of thing. Sometimes it's an in between. It's not always that specific. But I go within and I ask, and it comes from either my knowing and or my guides and spirit team. So, and then sometimes I'll be like, oh, and you need an oracle card. So I will generally consult, again, my favorite deck. So check them out. BrianCmears.com, I believe, is his website, where you can order this oracle deck. And then again, I will cleanse and clear 3 times clockwise, then the 4 directions to wipe it clean. And I'll shuffle and say, this is for Jane Doe. Please add to this reading for her. I'll move those away, back off camera a little bit here. Morgan Le Fay is going to watch over them, my statue. So I'll shuffle this one more time and then draw from here after I cut that deck. And so my intuition, generally I cut in 3s, but this particular time said cut in half. So I'm going to follow that. Now here's where you can't make this stuff up. It is called heart. And I was talking so much about the heart chakra. And so let me flip it so you can actually see the light language art. This is probably the chakra. Yep. So this is all rooted in the heart chakra. This looks like the Merkaba from Metatron, Archangel Metatron. And what I love about this card, if I'm adding it in for Jane, is looking at the big picture. So let me set these aside. Looking at the big picture, as long as you always follow your heart, Jane, you can not only know when to walk away, when to hold them, when to fold them. Old Kenny Rogers song. Really dating myself on that one. And you'll know when that cycle's kind of coming to completion, or when you need to pull from your money to reinvest. That's also coming up about that card. And then when the time is right for you to take new bold action. And with this particular energy, everything is just radiating out from that heart space, which gets you out of the ego mind anytime it comes to your own actions, because it's all about you. So I would love this for her. And depending if she's doing 15-minute reading, 30-minute reading, 45 minutes, an hour, all determined by her, she gets to decide, you know what, I want a little bit more clarity about that heart chakra, because I really thought I was doing that. Then I would probably go to my own tarot deck that I created, because it's only major arcanas. And I would say something to the effect of, okay, Mystic Taxi, let's add to this reading for Jane and get some more clarification around the heart chakra. And so I will shuffle. Oh, let me take that top card out of there. And then I will shuffle some more. And then shuffle one more. And then cut. This will also have in the middle. And then I will pull that card. And generally for me, I put it right on top of all of them so it will touch. So I'll kind of pull them all together so it adds to the reading. And this particular card's named after the devil. So let me pull it up and show you. So I don't like the word devil just because I thought it had more of a negative connotation. So I picked a word that was kind of neutral, that is mostly telling someone you're just still bound to something that is keeping you from your money or from your destination or from your plan, or however you want to look at it, depending on who I'm reading for. So with this particular, with the horns, kind of made the tow truck a little devilish with the artist that I worked with. But I'm really drawn to the purple taxi. Purple's all about staying in your own spiritual body, not the mental body. And it's got a heart there. So following your heart, again, backing up this card, okay, which is that heart card, of continue to follow your heart, because that will help you unbind, untie, unwind to your past, things that have kept you down. And there's even words on the card if I'm guided to use the words on the card. But obsession, if you're obsessed with, let's say, social media, or you have an addiction and let's say it's social media. I'm just going to pick on that one. And then healing in the darkness. So what is it that has you addicted to social media? Are you just afraid to face your own success? Are you afraid to face yourself in the mirror? Whatever it may be. But these are weaknesses and vices rooted in shadow. And as a trained shamanic practitioner, everything we do is about working in shadow so that you can stand in the light, help yourself, and help others. So that would be an example. Plus 15 equals the number 6. 6 is the number of love. It is the number of partnership in a way that's either romantic or platonic. 6 is also femininity, healing, feeling, motherhood. So really tapping into divine feminine to apply to Jane's reading. So that is an example of how I start with a foundation of tarot. I just do past, present, and future. This would be like an example for me if I did a 15, 20, or even a 30-minute reading, because I added in tarot, oracle, tarot, and die for divination tools. And then even from then, if I need to like scry or I need to do something else, I might literally tap into like my crystal balls or something of that nature. It's usually just me touching it, and I'll say, give me the information I need for Jane's reading, something that might be missing, something that might help her, that sort of thing. Or if I got, let's say 6 and I'm guided to look up that number 6, I will take a look. Let's see if it goes. Here we go. So the number 6, which you can find, let me show you this book. I love, 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 love this book. Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray, and he is a lovely human being. Met him at a Hay House conference. He's fantastic. The number 6, take time to eliminate. So again, goes back to this card. See, you can't make this stuff up. To eliminate all that's blocking your joy. Follow what makes your heart dance. And again, it goes back to the heart on the taxi, and she got the heart chakra card. So this is an example of unlocking your own intuition, using tools if you want to read for yourself, if you want to read for others. Oh, I dropped the crystal. Thankfully, it's still in one piece. Whether you want to do like a daily card pull. I use these a lot if I just want a card a day for myself, or I have a client that says, look, I don't have much time. I've got about 15 minutes. What can you do? So I'll usually do an oracle deck and the major arcana. So that way it's kind of quick. If it's a big, question or whatever, because I usually tell them to manage their expectations. Let me know, is this like you want a life-changing question and me to use some cards? Do you want me to only channel and get information that I'm guided to give you that's for your highest good? You want a combination of both? Do you want some automatic writing, or do you need some light language thrown in? So, and then sometimes with my light language, I do light codes, and I'm shown a symbol that I'll actually draw out and give that person. So these are examples. I just wanted to be able to show you, since I've had this question the most with everybody I work with, of how I do my work. No two people are the same. Please experiment with yourself and your practice. Set up your space that makes you feel at most ease or most comfortable, most in your power, those sort of things. Have your tools, anything you need already set out. If you have a chance to kind of meditate before you read for somebody. Now, if you're doing it for yourself, the same things apply. Can you shut out outside noise? Can you make sure you have your alone time? Those sort of things. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, because I love, love, love teaching how to read intuitively. Versus if I were to look in the book for these cards, I might get some different information than what I said. But what I love about what I do is I do let my intuition take the front seat. I let it be the driver, because the fact no two people are the same. So however you do it will be great. I just thought I would show you my tips and tricks of the day, or how I read, I should say, to see if that will help you in your practice. And this is something that I have taught in intuitive reading for tarot and oracle cards. So I hope that you've gained some knowledge for either yourself or for your practice or your reading, for others or yourself. But I just have great enjoyment in this, and I was really guided today to share this with you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will create more videos as I'm guided to really show people how they can really expand themselves using tools that are so ancient and widely known, and I don't have any negative connotation. That's why in my deck I renamed it to Bound, because it was about everything I do is about vibration, and I wanted something that was a little more even keeled, not so negative connotation associated. So, hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate it as I'm trying to build my base and get myself out there, because that's the message I've got is I need to be seen more. So, here we go. Thank y'all so much. Have a great day.